and welcome back to another episode of Musical Chairs with me, Cheer Up Charlie. Today we have the amazing, the wonderful. He is a man of all trades. He can do everything from being an American pilot to a man who loves dead bodies to someone who only has one hat. And he sings amazing songs and writes beautiful letters. It's Jak Malone!
Hi.
And as you can see, we're doing a bit of a different one. We're not on Zoom. This is the first ever live episode of Musical Chairs with Cheer Up Charlie.
It's less musical chairs, more musical Big Rock in Central Park.
Yeah.
That's what we've gone for today.
Yeah, musical Big Rock in Central Park sounds like a great one. But yeah, if you're ready, we'll get into the questions.
Great.
I've made them a bit more bite-sized, so you don't have to sit on the rock for too long.
Sure.
So, Mum is always telling me to shut up and stop singing, and it's really annoying. Were you, always singing, and was that something you'd always been doing?
Yeah, since I was a child. So I was very badly behaved as a child. I was a proper terror. And what I used to do is I'd do something that would spoil the whole day because I was so naughty, and then I'd have a tantrum, and then I'd storm upstairs, slam the door, and then press play on the Grease soundtrack. And I'd be up in my room crying, making myself feel worse, singing "Hopelessly Devoted to You" in the mirror. But with that came, my behaviour was so bad that all the adults around me were looking for a way to try and curb that and make me better. And there were people who pointed out, well, he's actually using music to self-soothe. He's actually, when he is upset, he's going up and he's singing and it's calming him down. So that's why they sent me to a youth theatre group. And then I was very, very well behaved ever since.
So, doing a show like Mincemeat that you've been doing, as you were just telling me, for 6 years
Six whole years, yeah.
Which is a long time to do a show. Is it hard doing a show where you have to switch between characters so much? And because, to me and to many other people, you are like Hester in Mincemeat. There is no one else as amazing at that as you. So is it hard doing a show like that?
It's both hard and easy. And when I say it's easy, I often say to people, when people say, how do you do it? I say, remember when you were in primary school and you'd be playing and you'd say, okay, I'll be the doctor, and you're being the doctor, and you say, do you know what, I don't want to be the doctor, I want to be a cowboy. And you'd switch like that because you were a kid and you didn't care.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. But then when it becomes hard is sustaining it, and all of the characters are heightened and larger than life and cartoonish, big physicalities. Even Hester, who's the character that I play most, she has a lot of tension. She carries herself, she's gripped and her legs are together like that, and I carry it in my body. So the switching can take a toll, a physical toll. Makes me very, very tired. But it's still good fun. At the heart of it, it still has that primary school level of play that I really enjoy.
Yeah, that's really cool. So Cheer Up Charlie kicked off because I was bullied for loving theatre. And I know so many others, and I've almost never spoken to someone on this channel that hasn't been bullied in some way, shape or form because of what they do or who they are or who they love or something. Was this something kind of you've been through? Yeah.
I was... people often tried to bully me. I don't know. I definitely have been bullied, but I was never persecuted and tormented the way I know so many people are and can be, because I always managed to wriggle out of it by being funny, and that was always a big defense mechanism with anyone who tried to come for me. I'd be like, hey, but look at this, and I'd be making people laugh to try and wriggle out until I would really deliberately try and garner everybody's affection so that they wouldn't pick on me, and then B, if they saw somebody picking on me, they would try and defend me. But there were definitely times where I questioned whether or not I should be putting myself out there as much as I do. Whether I've always been a very confident person, and there were definitely times where I thought, well, maybe that's a problem. Maybe I'm the problem, and my confidence is off-putting, and my confidence is confrontational to people, and that's something I had to push through, and I had to go, no, I'm fine, I'm doing all right, and I'm enjoying my passions and my hobbies, and I love my friends, and I love to laugh, and there's nothing wrong with that. So yeah, but I think you're completely right. I don't know anybody who works in the arts who hasn't endured some level of that stuff.
Yeah. What kind of advice would you have for kids out there who are being bullied for loving the arts?
Talk to grown-ups. Always talk to grown-ups. Don't worry. Find that one grown-up in your life who is unshockable, who you can tell anything to and talk to them, let them know what's going on, let them know what's happening. Even if your requirement by doing that is to say to them, please don't do anything, but I need you to know, because you should always talk to people. And also try and find grown-ups who are in the arts and who are doing that stuff, who can tell you that, hey, no, it all turns out okay. It gets better. I can say with absolute certainty that I have a much more fun and interesting life than anyone who ever bullied me. We're sitting here in Central Park together. We're having a wonderful time.
We're doing musical rocks.
Yeah, that's it. So it's talk to the grown-ups. Find the ones that can understand and who can help you see that there is light at the end of the tunnel. But also let people know what's going on. Don't ever suffer anything alone. Yeah. It's no fun at all.
Yeah. Well, I know from experience, and you'll definitely know, and my mum and dad know, and really anyone knows, the theatre industry isn't an easy industry, and especially to get into it, it's really hard, and it can be upsetting, but it can also be such a joyous thing. Would you advise kids who are kind of my age and younger to look at this as an industry as something to get into, or would you say more something to steer clear from?
No, it's a tough one. I used to teach and I used to work with kids, and I used to say to them, if you want to do this, you have to really want to do it, and you have to be unashamedly proud of wanting to do it. I think there is a real trend amongst young people now of cynicism and of being scared to be seen to be enjoying something, being scared to be seen to be passionate, and I think if you're the type of person who is willing to shy away from that and to go, yeah, I kind of like it, then you're never going to succeed. You have to go in, you have to dive in with both feet. You have to really, really want it and really do it. If there is anything else in your life, if you're sitting there going, well, I could be an actor, but also I really, really would enjoy being a quantity surveyor, then consider being a quantity surveyor, because if there's something else, it's going to be a lot easier. For me, and I know for a lot of other people that I work with, it was always, I have to do this. There's kind of nothing else that I'm going to do. I'm not that good at anything else. This is the thing that I'm best at, and the thing that I love best. So yeah, and I always recommend to try and find some sort of hobby, creative pursuit, some sort of outside endeavour to do alongside performing, because performing is, you don't have any control for such a long time. No one ever gives you any control. So to have something alongside that is entirely yours, that you have complete control over, complete authority, it could be collecting stickers, it could be knitting. You could say to yourself, well, do you know what, I didn't get that audition, I've had a bad day, but at least I can go and knit that scarf because that was my plan all along. I always recommend people to do that. And don't rush, don't just choose anything, wait for it to come to you, but once you do it, it'll save you. For me, mine is art. And whenever I was like, wow, I'm really frustrated, I'm not getting any work, or the work that I am getting isn't going how I want it to go, I'd go, well, hey, at least I can go and paint something, and I have complete control, and that's my thing. Yeah, that's the advice that I give every time. Okay,
so these are some more of the funny and more random questions.
Sure.
What's kind of one of the most embarrassing moments you've had of like a slip up or something stupid that you've done on stage that you haven't really shared until now?
Sure, I've got one. It came to me as you said it, and I've never shared it. I did a production of Spring Awakening once, and luckily there was no audience in. This was during a dress rehearsal. It was also during the dead of summer, and I have terrible hay fever. So I quickly nipped out of the room during a scene that I'm not in. There should be nothing to do with me happening on stage. I nipped out of the room, grabbed some tissue and went, ah! And I came back in and everyone is staring at me. And I'm like, what? And they said, your mic was on. And everyone was really angry. Everyone was like, your mic was on. And I was like, my mic wasn't supposed to be on. That was nothing to do with me. I was completely mortified. But also I look back and I'm like, why did I get the blame? I had a runny nose. I needed to go and sort it out. And it wasn't my scene. So yeah, that's terrible memory.
So I'm always getting in trouble because I'm always talking and I'm always just doing stuff and I'm really full of energy. Do you get in trouble off your wife or other members of the cast for things that you do?
Yeah, I'm a prankster. I'm a terrible prankster in the theatre. I love tricks. I love making people jump. Something I did yesterday. So I have a spray bottle for my hair. for when I'm doing my hair, a spray bottle of water that I do to start off my hair, and it comes out as a mist. But yesterday I discovered that if I twist the little cap on the end, it comes out as a jet. And my dressing room is on the very, very top floor, so I can, if I go like that over the rail, I can look down at everybody down there. So I grab the spray bottle, which is now a jet, and I'm looking down and I'm just going spraying everybody who's coming up the stairs. So I got in trouble for doing that yesterday. But I love a prank. I love a bit of fun, as long as we're all in it together and we're all in on the joke. Yeah. And people know that it's only me and I'm only fooling. But yeah, I can be a bit of a nuisance in the theatre, definitely.
So just some kind of random quicker questions now. What's your favourite city?
Liverpool, which is where I'm from. So I'm from the Wirral, which is just outside of Liverpool, but I lived in Liverpool for many years. It's where I sort of learned how to love theatre, going to the Liverpool Empire. I later did a show at the Liverpool Everyman, which was such an honour. I went to the Liverpool Institute for Performing Arts. So it took me a long, long time to leave. I really, really didn't want to leave that city. Because it's wonderful. It's a very small city, so if you go and visit, you only need a day. It has everything in the sort of city centre that you could possibly need, and it has a wonderful scene for arts and culture, and I really love it, and I miss it. Somebody said to me the other day, "Do you miss London?" I said, "No, I don't miss London, but I do miss Liverpool. I always miss Liverpool."
This is interesting to ask because don't get to always ask this question to people who are currently doing it after just coming from the West End. Mm-hmm. Which do you prefer, the West End or Broadway? Oh,
good question. I think Broadway has to take it, unfortunately, because there's just a prestige around theatre here. People in this city are very, very, very excited about theatre. People want to support it. People want to promote it. They want to see it. They want to be involved. They want to get coffee, and I don't feel that energy at home. I maybe it's there, and it just never came my way. I think London has a lot to learn from Broadway, purely in terms of vibe. The caliber of talent on stage, I see the same at home as I see here. But in terms of just the vibe that surrounds the industry, I wish London could have a little bit more buzz and a little bit more excitement. Although in the West End, in Broadway, it's much worse for people being on their phones during the show. It's terrible. It drives me insane.
Although I have noticed over here that they have a much better way than they do in the West End of getting people off, where they just shine a bright light in their face.
They flash the torch, or they stand before the show with signs that's like, turn them off.
Yeah.
But people still, the amount of times I'm doing the show and I look out and I'm like, there's a phone, there's a phone, there's a phone. It's an absolute nightmare.
I was watching Book of Mormon, and I'm one of those people who, like, if they're not silent in the theatre or if they're on their phone, really annoys me, because I really just, like, I was in Anne Juliet the other day, and there was a kid behind us. Mum actually had to switch seats because the kid was just kicking Mum's seat over and over and over again, and Mum was, like, getting really annoyed, and they kept talking and I was getting really annoyed. Same in The Lion King, and it's always in the kid-focused musicals, so I always feel really bad, but at the same time, I've come to watch a show.
Yeah, so, and it's not the kid's fault, it's the grown-up. The grown-up needs to go, hey, stop kicking, like you're going to make people crazy.
Yeah, like there was a guy in Book of Mormon the other day, I was standing, and he was directly in front of me, and he was taking photos and videos throughout the entire show. I almost went and got an usher and was like, keep taking photos.
I'm the king of... when I'm on stage, I'm always like there, and I can sometimes, as Hester can be quite still, and sometimes a lot of the action happens around her, and I can go, okay, row B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seats in, and I'll go and I'll tell stage management. We'll then go and tell an usher. So if you ever get caught when you're watching Mincemeat, know that it's my fault. I've hunted you down. I've used the grid system, and I know where you are.
I mean, it's also on you for using your phone in the theatre.
Yeah, no, I have no sympathy, not at all.
So what's your favourite animal?
Oh, good question. Dogs. Has to be dogs. I have an Italian greyhound. I have a little tiny boy called Dracula. I nearly brought him because we're at the park, but he's a menace, and he would take all of the limelight and attention off this interview. But yeah, he's great. I love dogs. We just fostered a dog last week from a dog shelter. We had him for a whole week, and then he got adopted, and we were heartbroken. It was our first foster, and we've said that we will do it again, but we need some time because we miss him. His name was Mason, and he was a really good boy.
Me and Mum have to be really careful because just by just by where we were, where we're staying at the moment, there's they bring out all the adoption dogs by Union Square, and we have to be careful walking past, otherwise we're going to be like, we've just adopted a dog.
No. Well, I did Broadway Box a few weeks ago, and I nearly took a dog. We had this little boy, his name, a little Chihuahua called Elliot, and I was like, this is going to be ours. This is our dog, and I gave him back to the shelter, and I said, I'll be in touch with you tomorrow. And then after I left, I got hives all over my arm, all by my eyes. My throat closed up, and then I had to go and do the show. That was a 2-show day, so I did that second show. It was one of the hardest shows I've ever done, and I went home and I said to Jasmine, we can't have Elliot, unfortunately. It was really sad, but he got adopted as well. So happy endings all around here.
All right, final question.
Sure.
What's your favourite food?
Pizza. Love pizza. When I came to New York, I embarked on something that I didn't call it the Pizza Diaries. My followers on Instagram called it the Pizza Diaries, which is where I was going around and sampling various pizzas from different spots in Manhattan. And people beg me all the time at stage door to bring it back. People say, please bring back the Pizza Diaries. And I'd like to, but I'm just sort of like, when you're doing a show, it's so tiring. It's like, I've got to go and I've got a quest for pizza. I know where the good pizza is now. That's the problem. Having done it, I spent the first 3 weeks doing it. Now I know where my favourite pizza spot is. Joe's Pizza, by the way. Joe's Pizza. Really great pizza.
There's always a queue out there.
Oh no, it's that's why, because it's the best pizza. I order it to my house, so I don't have to be in that queue. But yeah, so Pizza Diaries has been both a joy and a ball and chain around my neck because people are so obsessed with me doing it.
You know what? Now you've mentioned pizza, I want pizza now. So if we get pizza tonight, I'm tagging you in it because it'll be your fault.
Yeah. Joe's Pizza. I heartily recommend it. Okay. They don't pay me, but I advertise them wherever I go.
No, that's the same with me with some things. Like, they don't pay me to do this, but I just love your stuff.
Good.
Well, you've actually survived through the questions.
Oh, I'm glad. On this rock.
On this.
And the ants are really swarming, actually.
The ants are, yeah, they are.
We chose this rock, and the more we've been talking, I've been like, oh no, okay, there are ants here.
Yeah, no, I've been watching, just as they slowly crawl up on us. I might end it now, just because I don't want us to get eaten by ants. You do have to perform.
It's starting to itch.
All right, well, that was an amazing interview. Thank you so much for doing that.
Thank you for having me. It's an honour to meet you.
It was really great, and thank you for being my first ever in-person guest.
That's so good. Well, from now on, you need to interview everybody on an ant-infested rock.
I need to find an ant-infested rock in Hyde Park.
Pigeons are closed, and the squirrels.
Yeah,
I feel like Snow White.
There'll be a moment in the interview, and people will see it after having just watched it, where I'm looking at you, and then I'm just looking up at the tree because I just see a squirrel just looking at us. We're getting really sidetracked now. I'm going to end the interview before we do get eaten by ants. Thank you very much for watching, guys. See you soon.
Bye.